Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here under such unfortunate circumstances. Today, we are here to discuss and to share updates with the community of the 3 recent incidents that occurred these past several days. Let me begin by expressing our heartfelt sorrow and grief for the families, the victims, their friends, and loved ones. It is never easy to lose anyone, especially due to gun violence. Let me speak to the community and say gun violence has no place in our city. It is inexcusable and we will not tolerate it. To the victims and their families, let me say to you that we stand with you 100%. We will bring justice where justice is due. We will identify these individuals and hopefully bring peace and comfort to the families. We stand by our police department, our hardworking men and women, to identify these individuals and to hold them accountable. But we can't do it alone. That is why we are here to ask for your help in identifying these individuals. These 3 incidents that occurred over these past few days, will not derail the progress that we have made in this city. But I want to reiterate to the community that these 3 incidents were isolated. They were not related to one another, and there is no public imminent threat. Again, these 3 incidents were isolated. They are non-related, and there is no imminent public threat. Nonetheless, gun violence has no place in our city. To the victims and families, we are united. We stand behind you. We will bring justice. To the community, know that public safety is our #1 priority. The mayor, myself, the city commission, the administration stand behind our police department to do their jobs and to bring these individuals accountable. But we are calling on all of you to help us make that happen. Behind me is Chief DiGiulio and Major Kelly, who can talk more about the case and how you can help. But let me reiterate that these are isolated, independent events. There is no public imminent threat, but we want you to be part of the process. Thank you. And now I will pass it off to Chief DiGiulio, who can share additional thoughts.
Thank you, Mayor. Before I go into passing the baton over to Major Mike Kelly to go into the details, I just want to offer my condolences to the family of the 17-year-old. Tragic loss, and our hearts go out to you. I want to also speak to our community and say that the community safety is the priority of the police department, the #1 priority of the police department. We are committed to solving these crimes and these incidents and have dedicated our full resources to it. Just to reiterate what the mayor had stated, these are isolated events. They are not related, and there isn't any community safety issues that we are aware of. Major Mike Kelly will speak on the specifics of the incident. I'm going to allow him to do that now, and I want to thank you guys for being here and helping us get the message out to the community that we need their help, that they were able to provide any information, even if it's inconsequential to them, and maybe impactful to our investigations.
Good afternoon. I'm first going to go over the incident that occurred at 1200 Minor Road in reference to the homicide. We have interviewed dozens of witnesses, developed persons of interest, and are continuing our efforts to bring closure to the family. This is an open and dynamic investigation, and we will update you when there are developments. I'd like to provide you with the lead detective's information. Detective Villari, V-I-L-L-A-R-I, 561-742-6127. He is the lead detective in this case. Also, the Crime Stoppers number, 1-800-458-8477. I don't have anything additional on the homicide case. It is ongoing and dynamic. I'm going to go ahead and move into yesterday morning's shooting at 110 Northeast 11th Avenue. Marcy's Law has been invoked in this case. This investigation is closed, Although we developed probable cause for arrests, the victim declined to pursue charges. All of the involved parties are adults, and there are no life-threatening injuries in this case. I'll move on to the shooting at 3035 East Palm Drive, where Marcy's Law has also been invoked. All of the individuals involved in this incident are also adults. There is one victim who is in critical but stable condition. This is an open investigation, and we are developing suspect information. We are imploring the public to assist us in providing any information available for the two open cases. I'll take a couple of questions if I could answer them.
Major, on the closed case, there was no weapons charge or anything, weapons charges or anything like that associated that were legal firearms that you're aware of?
I'm not aware of any weapons charges. I do know that we seized multiple weapons, and that part of the investigation, some of those records checks will be complete, and I can update you if there's any change. But currently, the violent crime, that part of the investigation is closed.
And that's from the Northeast 11th Avenue?
Yes, sir.
Incident, okay.
I have a question for anyone who wants to address it. Will any new steps be taken from an enforcement standpoint due to this large amount of violence over the last few days? Any additional steps planned to be taken? I know that these are unrelated, but just wondering if that was possible.
The incidents are unrelated, and there is no nexus between the three incidents. They involve different individuals and different groups. They're completely different, and we can't predict when something like these incidents are going to happen. So I can't currently address that. I'm unaware of an initiative that would address a random act.
I'll just add to that. Just from a patrol perspective, when we have incidents like this, we want to make sure that we maintain our high visibility. The community knows that we are out there. The other part of it is, it's just, I think, just basic police work. Our commitment to the community is through this investigation. And in a way for deterrence in the future is to have a sound investigation, identify the people responsible, and hold them accountable for it.
Major or Chief, whoever wants to take this question. You mentioned all adults in the third shooting on East Palm Drive, all adults on Northeast 11th Avenue. So are we possibly dealing with juveniles in the first shooting only at this point?
The victim in the homicide was under the age of 18. I can't comment any further on potential suspect ages at this point.
In any of the shootings, except for the one that's closed, which you said was
correct.
Right.
Yeah.
But what the approximate ages of the third shooting on East Palm Drive, were that adults also included in the shooting?
Those are all adults. Correct.
Okay. Do you, Major? You said it's been reiterated that these are all isolated incidents and not related in any way. But do you see any kind of common denominator or overriding issue that may come into play with all three shootings, whether it's being free with guns or waving them around or using them to settle disputes? Do you see any common denominator here?
No, sir.
We also heard from some people in the community who, and I think this goes back to what the Chief said, I don't know if you want to expound on this a little bit more, that they didn't see in some neighborhoods a very visible presence of police or community connection with officers to the community. Did you want to comment on that, Chief, at all?
Is that in reference to this incident, or is that just from past incidents?
This is, well, this was someone who talked to us yesterday. So, just in terms of a deterrent or a connection between the people who live in certain communities and former officers.
Well, I'm sure when people feel that, it's just their perception. I mean, we can always do a better job of making sure that we are patrolling, and it's always a priority to make sure that we do have the high visibility. But we are driven by calls for service. So unfortunately, when we do have larger scale incident does require additional resources to be deployed in elsewhere. As we move forward as an organization, we always try to be creative with the way we deploy our personnel. And if the community feels that way, that's something we're going to have to revisit and look into that.
Chief or Mayor, for this one, any concerns? I mean, guns are involved in all three of these incidents. Any concerns about the constitutional carry law, which will take effect July 1st, which could, in theory, enable more residents to be armed?
You can take this one.
You know, right now, you have to have a permit to carry, and we are still dealing with, multiple shootings. If we're here next year and we're talking about more shooting, it's definitely a conversation to have. But I don't want to speculate on what that impact is going to have, but it's something that, as law enforcement officers, it's something that we're training for and addressing, and it could be a larger conversation later on.
Contact information was provided in the first case. On the second open case, what's the best number to contact?
That number is good for all.
The same lead detective?
Yes.
Okay.
Could it be gang related, any of this?
I don't have any indications of that. I can't speak on the homicide. On the other two, I have no indications of that at all.
Chief, how does this compare, I mean, this year so far with crimes involving weapons as opposed to, say, a year ago, two years ago, or 5 years ago? Is it even, down, up?
We can reflect back on just the last year. We're statistically probably on the same pace as we were last year. Do we have any additional questions? No. All right. Well, we appreciate you guys coming out and helping us spread the word to our community. And have a great day.